everyone, welcome. This is the TV1 Midday News. The launch of the Reset PNG at 50 is currently underway at the University of Papua New Guinea. This document will be the government's reform blueprint to guide national policy, planning and delivery over the next 2 decades. Reset PNG at 50 sets out the government's long-term framework for economic transformation, service delivery, governance and nation building as Papua New Guinea marks 50 years of independence and looks ahead to the next 20. The Mabiri Juvenile Rehabilitation Center in Bougainville will now be fully functional following the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Department of Justice and Attorney General, the Autonomous Bougainville Government, and the Catholic Diocese of Bougainville yesterday in Port Moresby.
The signing of the Memorandum of Understanding marks a continuous partnership and mutual commitment for the effective operation and management of the Mabiri Juvenile Rehabilitation Center in Bougainville. Secretary for the Department of Justice and Attorney General Dr. Eric Wa, Juvenile Justice Services Director Colin Sakap, and Leontine Iveno of the Bougainville Government's Department of Justice and Legal Services signed the MOU yesterday in Port Moresby. Under the MOU, DJAC will provide statutory oversight, policy direction, technical advice, and ensure compliance with national juvenile justice standards. ABG, through the Department of Justice and Legal Services, will lead local implementation, strengthen inter-agency coordination, ensure staff recruitment and training, and maintain the institution's infrastructure and operations. And the Catholic Diocese of Bougainville will continue its vital support through land stewardship, pastoral care, and facility management. Dr. Eric said the MOU draws its strength from the guiding principles of the Juvenile Justice Act 2024, the Juvenile Rehabilitation and Reintegration Policy 2021 to 2031, and the Bougainville Peace Agreement 2001, ensuring that young offenders are given the chance to reform, rebuild, and reintegrate into the society as responsible and productive citizens.
This is an order. Okay, this child will now be, not child, but a juvenile will now be taken to this place. So it's Mr. Sakap's team that goes and then uplifts the juvenile and then they take them to a particular center. So we pay for those transportation and movement of the juveniles. In the facility, they need to eat. They need to have soap, toothbrush, all these things they must have. So we, at the Department of Justice, we provide the funding. So we provide the funding to, say, in this case, the Catholic Diocese of Bougainville, we give funding to them, and they own the facility and they manage.
Juvenile Justice Services Director Colin Sakap said this MOU covers a specific area for provincial arrangement where a juvenile from another province in the region can be sentenced to rehabilitate in Mabiri.
A specific area of consideration as well under the MOU that we could also extend to other provincial arrangements, New Guinea Islands. So a juvenile from East New Britain, West New Britain can also be sentenced to Mabiri.
While Secretary Iveno said the signing of the MOU represents a brighter future to the people of Bougainville and PNG as a whole, where young people will grow and thrive in a safe and nurturing environment after being sentenced by the court.
You will strengthen our collaboration and coordination in the operation and management of the center, ensuring that our young people receive the care, guidance, and support they need to reform and reintegrate into society.
Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Following public comments by suspended ICAC commissioners Daniel Borch and Graham Gill and the overwhelming response from the public, former chairman of the Investigation Task Force Sweep and now Internal Revenue Commissioner Sam Coim has provided a write-up on his Facebook page in an attempt to separate facts from myths. Coim examines that there is enough funding and political will to run ICAC and that funding is not an issue. He also establishes that ICAC finds its roots in the Constitution, and unlike previous anti-corruption bodies like the National Anti-Corruption Coordination Authority and ITFS, ICAC is protected by the Constitution. He also notes that there was never a time when ICAC complained about interference in its work, thereby brushing aside claims that there was political interference. Therefore, Coim states that there is a leadership tussle within ICAC that needs to be solved immediately through the establishment of a tribunal. A judicial tribunal is yet to be established by the Chief Justice to look into this. Regional communities are hoping to cash in on some of the opportunities on offer from the $13 billion Critical Minerals Fund. It's anticipated they'll bring jobs and revitalize aging towns. But green groups are concerned about the environmental impacts of processing onshore.
This small mining community in WA is hoping to play a big role in helping bolster the national security of Australia and the United States. It's one of the first to benefit from the multi-billion-dollar critical minerals deal.
I think it's a win-win if it's creating more economic development and more jobs.
Critical minerals are central to our modern way of life, crucial for everything from smartphones to sophisticated weapons systems. Alcoa's funding will help develop a refinery near here, processing the bauxite that's already being mined and extracting the critical mineral gallium. It's hoped the deal will help loosen China's stranglehold on critical minerals processing.
99% of the world's gallium is currently made in China. This project will serve approximately 10% of the global market. 7
Australian mineral producers have received letters of interest worth $2.2 billion from the United States Export-Import Bank. The government-run financier says it will help boost US defence and industrial manufacturing.
In 35 years of being in the resource sector, I have never seen this level of alignment and cooperation at the highest levels of two government.
Here in Waroona, existing mining operations have triggered local backlash over water safety concerns, impacts to at-risk species and issues with forest rehabilitation. Environmental experts are worried about broader ecological damages, not just here, but at processing sites across the country.
This is profound in terms of where will they store the waste materials. Remember, this is only a fraction of 1% of a piece of the material that they will get it from, but it represents a significant issue.
Environmentalists and some locals hope their concerns won't be brushed aside in the national interest.
2 people have died after being pulled from the water off Frankston Beach as Victoria was battered by a severe spring storm, with strong winds causing widespread damage across the state.
Wind so strong it brought this tram to a standstill after blowing over a massive tree. A narrow escape for the driver of this car outside Cabrini Hospital in Malvern.
I was driving, just passing the tram at a red light, and I heard a bang at the back seat. I stopped and I saw like a tree branch had come through the back window of the car, or the back little glass bit of the car.
In Frankston, the police helicopter pulled swimmers to safety. In Geelong, thousands optimistically braved the conditions for Cup Day, but not for long. Racing was suspended after just 3 races, as punters were evacuated from marquees.
It's terrible out there. We're right there on the wedding post and it was just blowing, we're blowing like this.
As the wind strengthened, it was called off for the day. Some took it in their stride.
I think we might just head to the pub. Barely a breeze.
A bit of breeze for the coastal dwellers.
Destructive winds of up to 100 kilometres per hour started in the state's west this morning, downing trees, before sweeping through central Victoria. In the state's northwest, dust created havoc for drivers. Late this afternoon, it hit Melbourne. Across the state, power went out for nearly 14,000 customers, nearly 9,000 concentrated around Whittlesea in Melbourne's outer north, with thousands more in Maryborough, Echuca, Shepparton and South Melbourne also impacted.
We certainly have seen some really strong winds and hazardous conditions across the state today. Our volunteers have been responding to over 600 requests for assistance today. Over half of those have been for tree-related jobs, whether that be trees down over roads, on properties or in public areas.
A homelessness centre in Adelaide says a growing demand for their services means they'll have to start turning people away within a few years. The centre's chief executive wants the South Australian government to increase social housing and consider other ways to ease homelessness.
When 75-year-old Phil became homeless about a year ago, the Hutt Street Centre helped him get a roof back over his head.
I got some housing reasonably quick and assisted there, but if it had gone on much longer, I would have really been in strife.
Hutt Street's Wellbeing Centre offers a meal, a shower and connects people with other support services. It says there's been a 6% increase in demand this past year due to the cost of living crisis.
We're seeing young couples who, up until a month ago, were very comfortably living in a rented apartment, and then the cost of utilities, the cost of groceries, and the landlord turns up and says, well, I've got to up your rent by 30%.
Mr Burns says if demand for the service keeps growing at the current rate, they'll reach capacity in 2028 and have to start turning people away.
The challenge is there's not many other services for them to go to, so they will be left traumatised, and that's what concerns us.
The centre wants to see more social housing allocated and for the state government to incentivise landowners to make privately held vacant properties available for accommodation. The state government says they've invested tens of millions of dollars in homelessness services and are building a range of housing options.
We've got a big pipeline of housing, of all forms of housing: public housing, community housing, affordable sale, affordable rental, rent to buy and market housing.
More homes that can't come soon enough.
Kumul's co-captain Rhys Martin is excited to return home to represent Papua New Guinea once again. This comes at the back of a memorable season in the UK Super League, where he made history by becoming the only second Papua New Guinean to win a Super League title. Joining him in the Kumul's camp are teammates Edwin Ipape and Lachlan Lam, who have also concluded their Super League finals. And that ends the Midday News. Do join us at 6 p.m. for the main bulletin.
Trace Urban is Trace's flagship TV, exclusively dedicated to the best urban music and artists. Trace Urban offers a unique mix of the most popular American, European, African and Caribbean urban music genres. Trace Urban benefits from the power and musical expertise of Trace, which has endlessly promoted African music stars since 2003 on all its channels. Welcome to Trace Urban. We are urban music.
My name is Ruben Toru. I'm from Yokea. I am the Council of Chiefs of Yokea Lovera Payaru. And then my roles and responsibility, I am a community consent chairman and also a community consent leader. That is my role of chiefship. We are called Chief Itawesa. We have the consent of the community as a whole. I'm also the community rep in our community school, health center. I also is a decision-making representative in the Council of Chiefs during court sessions in the community, because I represent the community with law and order and work side by side with the council. The chieftainship means a concerned leader over the community. So that is why I take I am committed into all these responsibilities in the community. It depends on the new generations. But what we would try now our very best, like the occasion we had yesterday, we want to maintain it by bringing all the chiefs of Moripi in a chieftain's feasting and manner, and then getting the new ones in to continue as. Why the balloons were hanged in the shelter of the arena, it's showing and sample that this chieftainship was brought from another land, like Central. Yesterday's occasion, the balloon, the chieftain, all came from Cairo issue. So to bring it into Yokea and to bring it into Moripi as a chief has to make a ceremony, like a feasting. And then the balloons have to be hanged in the arena, showing the public that and telling them that, letting them know that this is how the chief happened to appear in our village, Yokea, and then how we can take it into Moripi as well. The mat, we have two arenas of chiefs sitting. The inside arena of the mat shows that those are the original chiefs, the original chiefs. The outside arena showing that you may be a partaker or you may be a caretaker. You may have the authority as a chief from the original chief, those who set it out at the outer arena. The inside arena were shown as the original chiefs. So they become the owner of the stream bed. We have flows of stream bed, like sort of we get our chieftain's number from village to village. So I might tie my strings with another chief from another village by doing the same occasion. So it continue on, and we want to spread it out. That's what we are really doing. Those with dog teeth on the neck, they are called as a paramount chiefs. And those with the big trunks, we are clan representatives from each clan and tribes. Like yesterday, we could say we have a tribe from Apanaipi, we have a tribe from Moripi, we have a tribe from Paripi that came in